All right, something to start off the day with our live show here is some downside. That's right, we're seeing some downside. Remember, the first thing we said we need to pay attention to, according to my video last night, is a 15-minute rolling over, and looks like we're getting just that. Now it looks like the most likely thing is to head a little bit lower, so we'll see what the first hour of trading really has in store for us. Remember that we're looking, if this does come down like this, to pull down in this area, and maybe we carve out some reversal signals in this area. I think that's the main thing we need to be paying attention to here. We can see that 30-minute crossed up and crossed back down. Well, if this is brief, just this morning, we could see some good things. As of right now, though, you have to see we're kind of approaching these levels where you could start to talk about cup and handle, but I think the ultimate cup and handle would be at these levels right here. We can really see around that weekly move how this would be the closing of a cup, and then maybe we actually do turn up for a second and turn back down. I think this would be something to pay attention to for downside. Obviously, if we're going to see upside, then we just have to pay attention to mainly a 2-hour chart, right? That's right by the center line. 2-hour turns up, we can see more positivity, okay? So these are the things that we're kind of paying attention to with the SPY, kind of relative to what's going on with the Qs as well. We can see those are holding up a little bit better, so that's interesting there. Now, as we go over to something like the Dow, we see that that is starting to turn down just a little bit more, right? And all these signals look relatively similar, so we got to see what is going on here. Obviously, if that 30-minute crosses, you can head a little bit lower, right? This is the overall level where we could close that cup and then get that handle. See what happens from there. If we're going to get some negativity, positivity, pretty obvious. 2 hours got to curl up, right? 2 hours are starting to get closer to that center line, so it's now time to pay attention to, are things going to turn up? As it goes for a volatility, we do see this 30-minute trying to curl up as of right now, even a 15-minute. If we want to check that out for a second, really trying to base out, really trying to go higher here, but rolling back down. So if this is going to break out, that's fine. I think we need to watch out and see if there's a 30-minute divergence today. I think that that would be very, very telling. All right, hopefully everyone is having a solid morning and had some fun watching that debate. It was very cordial. Me and my wife were like, wow, it's like the last debate was crazy and a bunch of nonsense. This debate was like too clean. So it's like everyone was clean. Everyone was trying to be respectful that time. We just do some stuff over here. Maintain. There we go. All right. Let's see what you guys are chatting about in there. Good morning. Can you check gold? Thanks. What's your thoughts on nail? We will look at those in a moment. Let's go check out gold first. Checking out gold, you just want to see 30-minute, hey, rolls back down. Okay, but in this area, you do have the opportunity to head higher, just because you are getting up to these areas, right? Pretty much going up to the gap fill. You could be completing something here, maybe getting that handle to turn back up. So even if this 30-minute dips down, it can go a little bit deeper. I would say you probably don't want it to go lower than that point right there. But for the most part, if that turns down and just turns back up, then that could be positivity. Or if it rejects here, right? If it rejects here, that would be a big deal. The main thing here is the 2-hour, right? The 2 hours, what you need to be paying attention to, is that actually going to curl up? I think that's the signal for a new breakout, is if that 2-hour can confirm some upside there. You are relatively flat here for the RSI, so a pullback here makes sense. Now let's go make a divergence or something like that. I think that could be interesting. As far as it goes for nail, right, home builders, you're curling back down on a 2-hour. That's not a good sign. That means, hey, this might be the first push to go negative. Really not a good sign. You see the divergence all the way across this. Very, very steep here, very elongated. But we can see it. It's probably on a 4-hour as well, which tells me watch out for the daily scale. The daily scale might be rolling over here, and that can be a bad thing. So right now, it's still saying more dramatic pullback is overall what this is saying, right? Because you have the reversal signals up here. It can go into a negative trend, but it's going to be a little bit difficult. That's going to take a lot of time. So if that just goes like this, maybe you see some kind of 2-hour turn up, and then you got to see, is that crossing or is that rejecting? Seeing if that positivity can continue. With this type of look, usually you do see some kind of at least small reversal in trend, and then at least the daily gets by that center line, and then you can curl up into positive territory. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, Jonathan. Walmart's going down. Yeah, Walmart, that was the... Oh shit, what is it? This one? Walmart, this was interesting because, you know, you'd expect that to be kind of like inflated, right? You'd expect it to be a little bit inflated if the strike is going to do anything. Oh, okay, but we kind of did something that we were talking about, right? We talked about yesterday, or I think it was 2 days ago, when we brought up Walmart. We said there's a reversal signal here, watch for the daily scale to turn down. And then we said, now we have to see, can Walmart, if this is going to be some kind of thing here, can Walmart break through this trend between these highs, kind of just restart, right? If it falls here, crosses over on that MACD, that is pretty much game over for Walmart, is what it looks like. It looks like the daily is going to suffer more than this, and you're going to at least see this go down to the center line. What does that really entail? Well, if you can consolidate and kind of hold up like this, yeah, you can end up doing this. But we do have the opportunity, I think, to, over time, this will take a lot of time, but if we can get back down to this level, you'd really see that cupping handle, and then maybe we actually go fill this gap. So, yeah, it's not the best look, and you're starting to reject again. You have the 2-hour signal. It looks like a great trade setup. I'm going to go look at this one right now. So, something to keep in mind too, something I like to do, look in the 30 minutes, see if there's some divergences in there. It is a little bit far away from the center line here. So this is one that could, right, be a cup and handle to the upside, right? It could be something like this, get that handle, and then we head higher. That creates some kind of divergence there on the 30 minutes. So I'll watch it a little closely. I've got 2 hours before that thing can actually post, and it hasn't even crossed yet. So if anything, I'm just looking at pricing or something for Walmart. Yeah, and the dollar is just going up and up and up and up. Look at that thing just ripping. It is honestly just ripping higher. And volatility is kind of following behind, so we really have to see if something's going to form here. But for the most part, volatility already curled up on the daily scale. So if that's already curled up on the daily scale, then the most likely thing is, right, if you paid attention to the end of the video, we talked about which time frame do you pay attention to more? Which one's stronger? Well, you should pay attention to the daily. The daily means a lot more. So if I was taking a million shorts right here, that's actually not the right thinking, because this is already crossed up on that MACD on a daily time frame. So if I get a 30-minute signal, it's like, what do you think stronger, a day or a 30-minute candle? It's going to be the daily. A lot of those didn't play out in the past, yeah. And the thing is, with something like Walmart, if this thing will load... God dang it. There we go. Dude, this sucks. They didn't play out in the past. Which ones didn't play out? I mean, it depends on your definition of playing out, right? This played out. This played out. This did. I would say this played out. It's just whenever those things curl back up, if they're not going negative, then you would say the reversal didn't happen, but the pullbacks did, right? They pulled back to the center line, gave it another trade setup for upside. Pulled back to the center line, gave another trade setup to the upside. So it's like, even if I was shorting here, I could immediately flip back to calls, make some money there, and then try to short here, flip back to calls, make some money there, and then try to short here, right? It's not like they're not fully, I would say that they're not fully playing out, but in reversal, but they are pulling back, you know what I mean? Mainly June, July. Yeah, these ones were a little bit tighter, right? We didn't really see too big of moves, but you still see the same thing, right? There's divergence here. What happens? Well, we pull back. Does that go negative? No, it curls up. Okay, calls. Awesome. Then we go up there, we make another point, we get turned down. Okay, oh, that one, this one was probably the bigger fake out to me, but you see that by the center line, it curls up and boom, positivity. Then we curl down, we curl up by the center line, positivity. We create the divergence. That one played out, right? That one played out. We get a divergence at the lows, and then that sees the major gap up. So it just depends on your definition of playing out. I could understand from a trade perspective, like a lot of these probably weren't the best trades. But the time you want to pay attention is when you see the daily at the same time, right? The daily really rejecting here. So the time to pay attention was right here, right? Because I can use 2 time frames to tell me, is this 2-hour divergence going to be a bigger setup? Like, is it going to take some more downside? Yeah, so is it going to take more downside? Well, a lot of the time I can say, well, is a daily divergence formed? Well, the daily divergence started to form like here, and then fully, I would say fully really confirmed right here with that triple divergence. So right here, the daily and the 2-hour were telling you at the same time. And notice what happened when both were telling you at the same time. That's more the signal you pay attention. Now, why am I mentioning that now? Well, because we've just gotten a bunch of rejections at this high. Bunch of rejections at this high. Now, I still think you can do this and curl right back up, right? Because we're very, very positive. But I think the time to pay attention is now you're seeing the little rejections in here. I think it's a good one. But I'll look at the pricing. Nothing too crazy to do there just yet. Something to look for from volatility, looking for if that can curl up on the 30-minute and if we are going to make some kind of small divergence here for the 30-minute MACD and RSI for volatility. The Dow heading to lower price, we see that starting to wick up. Something that I was looking at yesterday was still the DIA. We're seeing if that can turn back around. Oh, and Jonathan, thank you so much for the $4. Really do appreciate it this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, this will be interesting. Weekly expected moves for that guy over on Patreon who is hitting me up. Oh. Sorry. I'm supposed to get lunch with a buddy today. Just finished a 2-week roadie. Current thoughts. How's fishing going, man? Pump the like button. I like it, Jonathan. As far as it goes, you know, physical metals is what you're overall talking about there. Oh, wow. And the SPY really dropping with that. Wow, the SPY is really dropping with that. Getting towards our zone, though. Sorry, I kind of like was going to talk about something, then I was like, whoa. What we got to see is, does a divergence form down here? This is the completion of, well, what you would say is one of the cups, right? Doesn't this look like the level we would get to for that cup? Now we get some kind of handle. We break down lower to just like confirm the next cup, and then we get that handle, and then we head down lower. Like you have like one here, one here. It's interesting. You're buying some G-Wave? Hey, that's cool. I'm sure you know exactly what you're doing. You're like, G-Wave's the move. All right, that's cool. I haven't really looked at it lately. Yeah, I'm gonna do something. It's what it is. Okay. Tesla dropping. Now remember, we're probably heading towards some weekly expected moves. I need to pull those up real quick. Okay, where's my Tesla one? There it is. Let me get out of a 15 minutes so I can just see those moves. Oh, we still have room for Tesla to the downside. Wow. Tesla still having that room to the downside. Even this one. I guess you cup and handle that a decent area. You'd think it would be like here, just a little. All that playing out, the thing is you're making a flat divergence. I wonder what happens with that. Oh, Amazon. Amazon will be interesting to look at. Oh, that's on a 15-minute as well. Okay. I don't know why, but the internet's been crazy lately. Oh, yeah, we reached the perfect point. I mean, this would be a phenomenal trap from Amazon. Really show the divergence, show this popping up, get up to something like the breakdown area, which I would say was more along the lines of 189.50, right? You see this 2 hour, it curls up. Everyone thinks this is going to be just jolly. And then we hit something like that 190, 189, and then it just curls right back down. Actually, we might not be able to go that high. We might stop somewhere around these highs up here towards 188. So I think that could be a great setup for a trade. I'm just going to say that. I will be paying attention to that one. Kind of like a swing trade to the downside. It has to go up, and it's nice if you get a 30-minute divergence in this to tell you, and then you get that early position, you see the 2 hour cross, and then it just breaks through. It's very, very nice when that happens. So I think that might be on the table here for Amazon with these 30-minute signals. Obviously, we talked about Amazon being far away from the center line, so you got to see if that 30-minute needs to like rotate down a little further and then curl up. But maybe it just rejects here. We'll have to see. Looks like AMC and GME going down a little bit. Mara not showing too much positivity just yet. Bitcoin actually showing a 30-minute signal here, meaning the 2 hour most likely will cross up here. Very, very negative here for the 2 hour. So where would we react to, guys? Where would we really react to? Well, cup, small handle, break down. Great stuff. All right, now where would we react to? Well, we're going to probably react right back up to that area. We are probably going to see something like this and then see if that's able to either break through, right, take it back, or reject from, I would say, this level of about 63,000. That's what it looks like to me. Fed PCE, yes, there is some data, little bits of data coming out pretty much every day. The main day to pay attention is going to be Friday. We do have the ADP employment change, the revision to 103K of the previous, and actual coming in today at 143K. Vehicle sales look like they ticked up above forecast. Mortgage applications, previous was 11%, now at negative 1.3%. The 30-year mortgage rate increased by 0.01%. And then after that, looks like we get a bunch of oil stuff. That'll be interesting. What do we think of the UVXY movement today? Well, UVXY has something very interesting going on here. If you look at the signals, that is, which I don't like to look at the signals too much on UVXY because there's decay in it, right? I like to do my analysis, and Mark Welsh, thank you so much for subscribing today. I like to do my analysis on the VIX, but I think I could pay attention to this for the time being because that is a very, very steep divergence as the VIX has been relatively, I would say, bullish. So what if we see something on volatility that tells us the same thing? What if we see something on the SPY that tells us the same thing? What I'm talking about here is I think UVXY has the opportunity to actually pull back here. I think we still have the opportunity to pull back down to something like even $23.69, or I would say more likely somewhere around $25. That's what my analysis was. I was, looking into this throughout the day because I took the upward trade with this, and I'll sell the rest of that position most likely if this 15-minute does roll down. So I did end up selling a little bit of that position, just about a third of the position. If I see this 15-minute roll down, I'll be selling the rest. But most part, I want to see that signal on volatility, right? So the fact that I am seeing a test of these highs, I'm seeing some divergence at these highs, and now we're starting to fail. Oh, I can really just look for an hourly to turn down, an hourly pullback, right? Do something like that. Go down to 1683. That would put UVXY probably around $25 over the next couple of days, which would be cool. But we need to see confirmation in the signals. We still have the dollar screaming higher. The thing about the dollar is you're going to notice, even on the hourly, you see divergence, you see divergence, you see divergence. So even the dollar is saying, hey, I could have a period where I need to pull back. So we have to be aware of things wanting to turn back up. And I think a good thing to be aware of is going to be the Dow. The Dow has really helped us out a lot of the time. So if the Dow is able to curl back up, I would say on an hourly chart, then positivity is the most likely option, right? We're in positive territory. The Dow can actually make some kind of move like, boom, everyone gets euphoric. Friday comes along and then, uh-oh, reversal signal. So that's something I'm really looking for. actually something. Cool. All right, everything looks fine. About to exit the VIX calls, and yeah, I think when you see these type of things, when you see an hourly curling down, it just means like, hey, even if I'm holding this position, it ends up going up, say like next, or say like Friday at noon, this is going to go up from here. Well, this time can really eat at my option. So I could just get out of that position, take some profit there, be out of it. And then if this hourly gets by that center line and curls up, I know, okay, daily momentum is with me. Like, right, this is what, how do you think about it very simply, right? If this hourly curls down and then curls back up, you have daily momentum still with you, right? If that curls down too much and that daily crosses, then you could get some kind of lower high, right? We'll see this actually be able to probably go negative at that point, and then lower high is a little more probable. But for now, we could say, hey, if we're going to, oh, I thought I drew twice. If we're going to head up, well, then that hourly is going to pull down and pull back up and then not be able to cross on that daily. So the daily momentum will still be with you. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to now. And I also see the signals from the Dow. I think the Dow is trying to make the next move higher. That's a big wick. The SPY most likely will follow. There you go. Qs will most likely follow. There you go. Touching that for some kind of, I would say, double bottom at this point. And you got to pay attention, because if that 15-minute rejects here, that's going to be a big deal. Like fully rejects, and then you start to get above this high, right? Then you're getting past the breakdown area. You might end up towards 487. You might even see something crazy, right? And end up in these areas. We'll have to see. There's a lot of time left in the day, but volatility for the most part coming down now. Curling back down on the 15-minute. When that 15-minute curls down right now, no reason for volatility to go up then. Did some fishing in Okay, let's read about some. I love reading about your fishing, I'm not gonna lie. Did some fishing up in Glacier National Park, but mainly hanging with my buddy, wife, and little boy. Going to be in Florida with my family for a couple months, and I'll have salt crystals. Ooh. Yeah, I miss fishing. I used to go to Table Rock and just I don't remember what it's called, like troll fishing or something like that, where you just like let the boat go real slow, let the lines kind of just drag behind you. I think it's one of the most fun things. And I don't have to do a lot. I just sit there. Yeah, it's lagging. Yeah, I know. And for some reason, and I talked to this about my cop buddy, because he has connections with federal agents. And so I was asking him, I was like, is anything going on with our infrastructure or some kind of system here? I'm like, my Wi-Fi's been wonky ever since the whole Verizon thing. It's been a little wonky for the past month, and then it started to get real weird pretty much when the Verizon thing happened. So it's nice because we get some intel from his Fed buddy. And once that news becomes, if we get anything from the guy that's obviously important for everyone, then I'll mention it. Right now, he's just telling us about our city and what to do. Do you think we're still flooded with shorts and puts? I actually don't think so for the most part. I mean, people are trying to short the market now as the dollar kind of says, hey, I'm kind of topping out. So now people are trying to short, and we're seeing reversal signals in some way from the Dow, from the SPY, from the Qs. If they can just curl up, you're seeing the obvious divergence here for the SPY. This divergence, if it completes, look how easily that can go positive. So that's telling me that at some point it would make sense to hit this upper line. I need that to confirm. I need it to get above this level, and then we can head towards 573.92. Trolling fishing, is that what it is? Okay, good. I think I had that right. But it's a lot of fun. I have a great time with it. I'm not gonna lie. I just sit there, we'd get a cooler, some snacks, play some tunes, just some light tunes, and just enjoy the sun. Enjoy the sunshine. I don't think we're flooded with shorts, and that's just because, for the most part, the PCC, ever since September 23rd, has been down in these areas, more towards the call side. So now that we're seeing a dip down, now that we're seeing a dip down, these people probably hurt and they're immediately going, okay, now we're going to crash down again, right? Because the SPY actually saw that reaction up here, right? Up from here. So you would say from the 23rd, these guys probably got stuck, maybe sold those positions, and then people start to go to the put side here. So you could say, I guess, we don't really have that data. I need to go check flow or something like that. But for the most part, I think people are trying to short in this position according to today, and that's what I want to pay attention to. Affirm, yeah, we can go look at Affirm. I know that people were paying attention to this even last week. Affirm here, we don't want to look at a 15-minute, right? We want to do a 30-minute, showing a lot of divergence across this, but it's very, very far away from the center line. Are we hitting a key level? You would have liked to hold up probably at 39.50, because now you have the risk of going down to test 35.80. But you would say if this 30-minute can turn around, what's the 2-hour look like? 2-hour looks very deep. So pretty much from this, there can be a bunch of 30-minute divergence, but if that 2-hour swings up, that could be that swing to the next swing to the upside. You just need to understand the positioning of your MACD. If you're doing like a swing trade on the 2-hour, that pops up like this. Hey, we could go retest that breakdown area towards 42.70, right? Go from 39 to like 42.70, and then see that curl right back down. And then you'll see this on your MACD, that lower high setup. So I think Affirm has higher probability to create a lower high here. AMC and GME are still, they're trying to curl back up. The key thing with AMC is it's a good thing that way back when that big moment happened, people asked me for a level that I liked, and I found 437 way back in the day. That was months and months and months ago, and 437 is proving to be a key level many times, right? We see reaction down towards it. We get reactions to it a lot of the time. We gap back above it. Very good stuff. So at this point, what do we want to see? Well, from this, I would actually think an hourly is your friend. I think if the hourly can turn up here, you might see something good, right? All you're looking for is a signal that tells you, can the daily start to turn back up? Can the daily start to turn back up? Now, look at the positioning, though. It is still likely to get some kind of lower high unless we see a very strong move. So I think if the daily does curl up here, you really want it to take you past that crazy level, that 504. Right? Next week, that's going to change. So make sure you're subscribed for Sunday. But I'm just saying, this does have probabilities to be more of a lower high. But if you take into consideration the fact that AMC and GME will most likely run at the same time or one after the other, then you'll go look at GME and say, well, this has divergence and it's closer to the center line. So this is going positive right now. Let's put some mayo on that thing. This is going positive now, so I just want to pay attention in here anytime that 2-hour really rotates up. As of right now, it's rotated down with divergence, so I'm paying close attention. Maybe I go a little tighter into this. I go with an hourly because that's really close to the center line, and I say, hey, if that hourly turns up, you know, what's the most likely thing to happen? Well, it's still within range of being positive, so I think you do test the high and go make a new one. So I think if the hourly turns up here for GME, you got a shot to break through 2480 and see something crazy. That's what it looks like to me. Even with the reversal signals here, if you don't fully confirm that down, really see that weakness, curl over that daily chart, well, then you still have daily momentum with you. So any buying here, right? This is still bearish for the time being, but it can turn back into bullish just by doing something like that. Something as simple as that can be right back to this is crossed up into positive territory. ALNY. Yeah, we can go look at that real quick. Some pharmaceutical company here. Okay, we liked our 2-hour maybe for this one because that looks like a pullback with time. Kind of a wonky pullback with time, isn't it? Kind of a wonky pullback with time. I don't think this is like the absolute best trade setup in the world. I can see the consolidation trying to happen and see if that just breaks through a high for the new one. But is that going to create an overall divergence? Is the daily going to be able to cross? So if the daily crosses today, the most likely thing is downside. That's key to understand. So I think this is something to watch by the end of the day. See if something like an hourly chart does curl back up into positive territory and you're able to break through this high of about 279.50. Trap Escato, yeah, you're welcome. I hope that was in some way helpful. I really do. Yeah, with AMC and GME, it's mainly about the bigger time frames, right? You're just looking for big momentum. So if you just be patient, see a daily curl up, take a chance. That's kind of like how some of my friends have talked about it, right? How do I do this on the analysis side? I'm like, just look for a daily to turn up. You need big momentum to see something crazy. Yeah, I'll go over NVIDIA. We haven't really looked at NVIDIA this morning, but something about NVIDIA that was overall interesting is you're creating a lot of 15-minute signals here. And you're creating another one right now with that 15-minute divergence. What does that overall tell me? It tells me, and that divergence is holding, not necessarily on the MACD all the way across, but it is holding on the RSI. So that tells me 30 minutes hourlies can start to turn up. What happens right after that? The 30 minutes starts to turn up. Now, the positioning of the MACD, though, right? We talk about this in the swing trading course a lot. We talk thoroughly about the MACD. It's more important and better to understand how to actually read into this indicator, not just does it cross up, does it cross down, right? Understand the indicator. That's what we try to teach in the course. But the positioning here looks like you still have a lot of probabilities towards some kind of pop-up like this. Maybe we grab liquidity and we reject from something like 120.50, and then that curls back down, really confirming, hey, we're in a negative trend. That's what it looks like to me. If you want things to fully turn back around, I think you got to start turning around a 2-hour chart, right? The 2-hour chart turns around something different. But if that 30-minute just pops up like this and drops, this won't fully be able to cross most likely, or it will cross right back down. I don't mind it, but we're hitting the level where you can create this structure to head down that we kind of talked about, right? Get a head and shoulders. Is Microsoft creating a 30-minute divergence? Let's go check it out. Let's really go check it out. 30-minute, I would say it is, right? But the thing about divergences too is you still want them to be, you want to understand, is this a fantastic divergence or is this a kind of low divergence based on your MACD? Well, the RSI looks great, right? If we can turn this back up, it would confirm, right? We need that to confirm. It's really just forming, so no real trade setup just yet. But where's the positioning of the MACD? Well, it's pretty damn low, so we do have the opportunity to maybe pop up, create a higher low. We do have the opportunity to maybe pop up, go create a double bottom in some way. Because this is so far away from the center line, maybe you do pop up, but you'll notice that maybe that curls back down, and then you see something like this, gets you a little bit closer on that cross up to the center line. But this is divergence, which means a 2-hour chart can roll up here. If a 2-hour chart rolls up, what's the most likely thing? Still a lower high. The most likely thing to do here with a 2-hour roll up is to go test, I would say, a breakdown area towards 429. 429, then you reject, right? So I think that's something to look out for within this. Maybe you see a little 30-minute divergence or something like that. That would be nice. But yeah, I think you're right in seeing that divergence, yes. Yeah, so this in the course, we talk about kind of support resistance, and we more so talk about are sellers lurking in this area because we're below it? Are buyers lurking in this area if we're above it? That's kind of what this is. That's how you really read into support and resistance, right? When we talk about support and resistance as support and resistance just means, is there buyers? Are there buyers in that area? Are there sellers in that area? And when you're below those levels, then you would say, are sellers in that area? If you're above a certain area and you're heading down towards it, then you'd be asking, are there buyers in that area? And the way that you can know if the buyers are stepping in, or in this case, right, with Microsoft, are the sellers stepping in, are pretty much, is this able to curl up, right? Is this able to fully curl up? We see a strong move and then that curls back down. That would mean in this zone, oop, we confirm back down. Uh-oh, we break through this low, right? So that's all that these zones mean. They are zones that have liquidity. They have zones that get reactions. So that's why I marked them off. There are my support and resistance type of areas. Yeah, SPY kind of going a little bit back and forth. We still need to confirm some stuff, right? We still need this little 15-minute to curl up. We'll just leave it on the SPY for the time being. You just want to see if that can curl up into positive territory. People are to the put side for the most part today. And the dollar is showing some signals that it might be topping out here. I know it's on the 30-minute. We don't look at that a lot for the dollar, but that does roll down 2-hour charts, and that thing's very overbought at this point. So a pullback would make sense, meaning that people could go into stocks, right? They could go out of cash into stocks for a little bit. Volatility as well, still curling down on the hourly. So if that posts in about 3 minutes, then just be cautious because volatility might be subsiding. We might get some kind of bounce. If that bounce leads to reversal, we know how that can head higher, 2 hours crossing up. But if that's just going to be some kind of 30-minute bounce that then takes us lower, you're going to see that fail, curl back down on a MACD. A Tesla move doesn't make much sense. That is a major breakdown. As far as it goes, though, 2 hour or 30-minute or hourly divergence, 30-minute divergence at the highs, telling us, okay, the 2 hour can roll over, and right here it doesn't really make sense, but you would say it kind of does. It's just a hard one to catch, right? You can kind of see how that just curled down with the gap. That's not usually a good thing. But the 2 hour confirmed down, it's never confirmed back up. We didn't have reversal signals in here. If anything, what we were talking about is ending up playing out, right? We react down to these, I would say, key levels, and then we get that bounce back up to grab some liquidity at the high, and then we drop back down, right? Get some kind of thing in here. But for the most part, you would just say the 2 hours curled down, it's not curled back up. So I should expect negativity because that's a bigger time frame. So we'll see if any basing out signals do form. Was this like, is this the best thing right now? I would say if it reacts a little bit further down, maybe 237 or something like that, then you see some kind of rip and then we break down again. I think that would be a good look for Tesla for an actual play at this point, because this might be heading towards, and it's not even at yet, but it's heading towards a weekly expected move. You got about pretty much these lows in here is the reaction. So with this type of move, you would expect to possibly hit that level, right? More probable to hit that level at this point. But I think a good signal to watch here is just look for the 15 minutes. See if that 15 minutes able to confirm some divergence down here, because you do have it. You have good divergence here on the MACD, so if 15-minute curls up, we can see a strong hourly move. As long as that 15-minute can take us above here. Let me click through these stocks real quick. Let me click through the stocks because I do have them up on my chart. Apple might be a similar story. Yeah, Apple, a rejection divergence here would be interesting in our buy zone, right? So you see the gray area, we're above it, right, IFOMA? So we're above that gray area. So if we get down to it, we're asking, are buyers in this area? Are buyers in this area? Then you see a slight signal like this, and if that would reject, meaning maybe get back above these moving averages or take out this level, well, then you might have some kind of like hourly curl up. You might even just have like a little 30-minute curl up, okay? That 30-minute, it does have the opportunity to go higher, but I would say something like 227.91 could prove to be a little difficult to get through. As we have cut this low and closed at lower levels for the 30-minute here, that is starting to look like, hey, we're about to continue the negative trend. So this could just be a bounce that gives you that continuation. We'll see. That's the risk here because this is low on that MACD. In order to go higher, you really need like a 2 hour to flip back to positive, right? We need a pretty damn strong move here that lasts for a few days. Everything will make sense probably by the end of the day, right? AMD was one that was kind of interesting. Remember this one had the no 2 hour divergence there. So you got to see if that daily's rolling over. It's not yet. So we said the most likely thing here, still what I was leaning towards was a 2 hour pullback. So we'll see if the 2 hour can gain some steam here and then see if that actually gives us a reversal signal. Maybe by Friday, this would be a nice signal to see, really fake people out to the upside. We could maybe see a similar signal at the same time on like the SPY or volatility. That would be very helpful, right? If you see things on multiple charts, especially on volatility, you're like, hey, this stock is showing divergence while volatility shows it's about to curl up. Okay, let me start to think about when I'm going to take that position. Okay, it's confirmed, position taken, awesome. I can pay attention to managing the trade. All good stuff. Okay, that's actually showing a little bit of green now. Let's see. Chilling. Chilling, chilling, chilling. So yeah, this is I think the main thing to pay attention to. So I'm gonna leave it on here for a moment, unless someone wants to look at a stock. Let's go see. Strong bounce for NVIDIA, yeah. So NVIDIA showing the divergence, right? On a 15-minute, you see a tiny little divergence down here. Okay, so that's telling me, ooh, something good can happen. Maybe even for an hourly chart can start to turn up. I actually think this is the chart. I know we don't pay attention to hourlies all the time, but sometimes if hourly looks clean, I want to pay attention to the most clean signal I can find, and I think an hourly curl up here would be nice. Same thing for the Dow, same thing for the SPY, same thing for the Q. So this 15-minute divergence does matter. You can see it. We're starting to pop up green. You still got 3 minutes left, but in 3 minutes, maybe we can make a decision. We'll see. AVGO. Some Broadcom. Again, rejection with a higher low this time. So this one more so want to look at a bigger time frame. 30-minute, very, very deep. So we have to pay attention to any time that rotates down. But for now, this is a pretty good move. You're getting up to a key level. I like this 172.81. See if that can kind of base out. Maybe do something like this on a, I would say 30-minute chart even. Right? See if we can react up to there, maybe consolidate, and then curl up one more time. Right? We react to there, we consolidate, we go one more time. Right? We make another higher low in that area, or yeah, higher low in that area. That would be nice for this one. That would tell me also, if I just wanted to keep it simple, if a 2 hour swings up, we can see a strong move. If that 30-minute fades that completely, that's when a bad thing happens. So 2 hour curls up, you're gonna have to get past these levels. If you can't get past these levels and you reject, that 30 minutes gonna curl back down, and you'll know like, hey, this isn't a good moment. So 2 hour curls up though, pretty simple swing trade. You're seeing those signals for the swing trade now. You just got to manage the trade. So managing the trade here would be, if I take something here, I would look at a 30-minute and I would say anytime that that curls down, I'm out of the play. Whether that's here or here, I'm going to get out of the play if that works its way back down, because that's going to be a little bit positive. Maybe it curls down, you get a nice dip down into this area, and then you can say, okay. So it's more so this too. You more want to be managing trades when you're in a bad spot, really close to that negative territory. If this sees that strong of a move and this MACD goes like that and that curls down, that might mean manage the trade on some of the contracts, but maybe leave some runners, right? You can do it in multiple ways, obviously, but that is something that can happen there. SPY turning up green for the MACD on the 30-minute and 15-minute, I believe. So we'll see if that 30-minute can really confirm back up. That'll help for us. But if that 15-minute is confirming, then you have some good probability that that is going to head to the upside with an hourly turn up. So for now, you just want to sit. I want to sit here, and I want to wait, and I want to see if that 30-minute curls back up, or 15-minute curls back up, and then maybe I could take some kind of position. Right? Being patient. Alrighty. Looks decent though. All right, so now's the time to pay attention. It's really close to crossing, so we'll sit for a second. Let me go use the restroom real quick, and I will be right back. Okay, guys? Just sit on the SPY, see if that 15-minute can rotate up. All right, we're back. We're back. I think I'm on extended. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the regular trading hours. We always do regular trading hours on this channel, guys. Went and worked out last night, came home, watched the debate, ate some chili again because it was dang. It was so good. Let's see. So we just got to actually, I'm not even going to click around too much. I think we just literally sit there and chill in. So I just use the regular ones. So if you go to indicators, type MACD, moving average convergence, divergence, I use that one right there. I take off the yellow average line for my RSI, by the way, just so you're aware, because some people ask about that. But for the most part, I'm using basic settings, right? 12, 26, 9. All right, SPY. Dow was able to remain positive. That's kind of a good sign for the Dow, actually, if that can curl up. What goes up must come down. Yes. But when a lot of people who are richer than us have money at risk, you might see some funny behavior, right? We might see this head up really fast and then people get trapped. So, yo, that debate was too friendly. That debate was too friendly. Like, that's the funny thing. It's like the first debate didn't really do anything because it didn't solve anything. It was so nuts on one side. It's just so crazy and everyone just offending each other. And then this was the complete opposite of that. So I'm like, will this even do anything? Because it was so nice. It was the complete opposite, but does that affect things? It'll be interesting. What must come up? Well, you would say if I have a bouncy ball, what goes up must come down. But once it hits the ground, it might bounce. We just want to see if we have solid ground under here. That's what we're trying to look. Missed the bounce at the bottom. If you're trying, by the way, guys, if you are trying to find exact bottoms and exact tops all the time, you're going to really struggle as a trader. If you think that this bounce right here, by the way, and I'm not calling you out or anything like that, I'm just saying, if you think that this bounce in some way is a miss out at this point, then I think you need to understand that this is just the basing out signals. We don't know if this has room to go up just yet. We need this to cross, and then you have a chance of that break through this, curl up on an hourly, right? So I wouldn't really be thinking like, I need to find the exact top, I need to find the exact low, I need to find this. No, every single time I buy something, I'm buying it at this point, right? I'm buying it at this point. I'm not buying it down in these areas most of the time, right? I'm looking for momentum to confirm there can be more upside, and I'm taking the rest of that play, right? And I use shorter time frames because if you really look at it on the hourly, does this look like you missed out on anything? Well, you would say if this crosses up, well, then that's going to be a strong move, right? So if this crosses up, you can see a strong move. So I want to find the smaller signal so I can be in here instead of here. Save me a little bit of money. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't try to just control yourself a little bit, you know, just be like, okay, what's the signal I'm looking for? How's that confirmed? This hasn't confirmed yet. IFOMO, this hasn't confirmed yet. So anytime, this can just go like that. This can literally just go like that. That is more likely right now than doing this. But once that crosses, this becomes more likely than this. Hasn't crossed yet, so be patient. Reshorted on the nail. Let's go look at nail. Let's not look at a 15-minute chart for nail. I think the reapplication of this is just that 2-hour crossing down. So you probably don't want a 30-minute to cross up, right? But you do have that 30-minute, I would say, almost double top. So that's a good look. And that's a good timing, I would say, is even if you just took it right here, it's fine. You just want to say, okay, now, since I'm taking a 30-minute divergence play and that 2 hours and confirmed down, what am I managing my trade on? Well, 30-minute play. 30-minute play, right? Right away, you just say to yourself, what play am I taking? I'm taking a 30-minute play. So I need to chop that in half to manage the trade. I need to see if a 15-minute curls up here, not a good sign, right? That means positivity. That means breakthrough could happen. But if that would pop up and then roll back down, maybe that's more the moment. So if that doesn't happen, then you're just saying, okay, I'm looking for that 2 hour to really confirm it. Then you're just pretty much doing a 2 hour swing to the downside. Maybe we get an equal move here, right? Maybe we do something like this. We've popped up here. Maybe we're able to, I think this is the highest point. Maybe we're able to go down to something like 151, 152. Yeah, and you'd more so. I mean, yes, you can consider it a head and shoulders. You can you can see if this pops up, right? But more so, you would say, hey, maybe this is cup and handle. I would say. Now, if this cup and handle is not going to play out, then you probably will not see, because you've already kind of done this. Most likely, you won't see an hourly able to turn up here. So we'll see if that hourly can turn up. We'll see if, in order for that hourly to turn up, you really got to see confirmation from this 15-minute signal. Yeah, we talk about politics every once in a while, but just know, at the end of the day, just make your own decision. You do your thing. At the end of the day, we're just paying attention to stocks. Like, I think everyone can have different opinions on whatever. We just come together because we all like stocks. We all like to trade. We all like to make money. So let's just focus on that. We can talk about politics every once in a while, but as long as everyone knows that everyone wants the same outcome, right? Everyone wants life to get better, okay? You might disagree on the pathway to that, but I would highly encourage you not to let politics really ruin friendships and things like that. We've heard a lot about that lately. Ooh, IWM giving the earliest of the signals here. But see, this is the thing. Even when you cross up, you have to get above these levels, right? We still have to see an hourly turn up, by the way. So that hourly hasn't turned up. Now, it doesn't mean I can't take the play now. I can't take the play. It doesn't mean that. It means I can take the play. I just need to make sure if this 15-minute does roll back down, I need to know, okay, that's not a good signal. That means downside. And a way that we can actually see this go higher than right here, the confirmation I'm looking for is an hourly chart to be able to confirm that, which means you have to get above this level. Just in case it pops, just in case these things pop. But that's perfectly fine. As long as we're managing trades, you can't be beat up too much unless there's some kind of big gap down, right? The Apple thing might have took people, right? That had a pretty good gap down today. That's one that you're like, ugh. But in this area, the hourly turned down here and it's never turned back up, right? But the 15-minute didn't really give you that opportunity yet. But did this confirm back down? It didn't confirm down. It's actually rejecting and turning back the other way, and you're getting a stronger green bar. If you can take back 225.84, you can cross above this high, you might actually get an hourly turn up here. But the most likely thing with this hourly, because this was a steep move, unless we just see a massive reaction, I would say just be a little cautious, because we could come back up to this area, do that little handle, but you want to be paying attention to if that hourly rolls back down if we curl up here. 99K puts on IWM. Yeah, 30-minute signal not really there, though. We could always make a 30-minute signal first. Remember, I trust 30 minutes more. I always trust 30 minutes more. I just think we have possibility here for upside as volatility has been turning down on the hourly. Let's see if that actually crossed. Yeah, the hourly crossed. So this means that volatility either pulls back with time or pulls back with the reading, which means if it's going to pull back with the reading, not with time, right? Move sideways versus move down. If this is going to move down, then most likely the SPY does move up, maybe up towards 573.92. Oh, put, sorry. And if you're taking puts on something like IWM, you just want to be cautious a little bit there, because you're actually seeing some reversal signal on a short time frame, right? But if that 15-minute can roll back down, then you have an argument for sure. Crude oil. If we go look at US oil real quick, first of all, we like to do analysis on this on the 2 hour, on the 4 hour, on the daily. We saw those basing out signals down here just a little bit. This one was a little surprising, gave you kind of multiple point divergence there, a little bit of a fake out. And then we see the double bottom. The double bottom was a massive giveaway here. and we see that big move up, we're continuing that trend. Now, something that would be nice here is you're getting up to the key level, right? We get up to that key level, we create the handle. We do what we couldn't do back here, right? Back here, we kind of reacted to right in this area, which is fine. What we needed to hold up better here and turn back up, but all the divergences up here on the MAC or down there on the MACD took you down. So the 2 hour here confirmed the divergence, boom, pops the upside, that continues from this level. I would really like to see a small handle and then see if that can turn up. Small handle, see if that can turn up, which is funny because if that would happen and this went up because of the war stuff or something like that, or the strike, if that's going to continue to affect the market, that would mean if oil's heading higher, then it's not necessarily a good thing for the market. So this could be the period of time where stocks bounce. This, if it turns back around, could be the time where stocks actually top out again. So that's something I'll read into with US oil. Gold, what'd you end up doing? We could say a similar story for gold, right? Stocks really suffered and gold bounced up. So if the 2 hour is able to confirm back up, then I want to be paying attention because that could mean stocks are going to fall again, right? I want to pay attention to what correlations have been happening over the last day or so. It wants to. We need about probably, I would say 30 more minutes and we'll probably know if this is going to confirm. And then we have about maybe 30 more minutes and then we'll see if an hourly can turn up. Just so you're aware, I do have to hop off in 30 minutes. I have my lunch at 11 a.m. So I have to go to lunch at 11 a.m., meeting with a buddy of mine. And I worked out last night and didn't shower before bed, and that's disgusting. But yeah, I gotta make sure to get fully ready today. I slept good last night. Like I actually got something in my eye. I had to come downstairs and flush out my eye for like 10 minutes. Then I went back upstairs and I passed out. Then I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I gotta let my dogs out. I'm like, I gotta stream, I gotta hop on because there's some good signals. I was actually watching them late last night too. If I want to buy today with the intention of selling the next day, what time frame do you recommend I focus on? 30-minute, 2 hour, or which one? The 30-minute is usually your friend with some trade that's only going to last, I would say, 1 to 2 days. For the most part, when you see a 30-minute divergence, you could say that about 2, maybe 3 days of positivity can come from that, right? So with a 30-minute divergence, you just want to see that 2 hour swing and see if it can curl up for, I would say, a couple of days, see if that move is there. Sometimes it will take longer. That's why we take out the longer out expiration a lot of the time, at least 2 weeks with the 30-minute play. And that's just because you can easily double money if the 30-minute divergence leads to a 2 hour crossing. You really can. Most of the time, if you're trading something like Apple, I'll do this because Apple's my most traded stock. Apple shows this 15-minute divergence. Let's just say it's a 30-minute rejection divergence, okay? We'll say it's a 30-minute. Let's say the 2 hour curls up and you take the play right now and the 2 hour curls up and we see a move to 28 and you have a 2 week out expiration. If this moves to 28, you double your money. That's why it's called a doubling strategy. It encourages you to take profit more often. Now, if that 2 hour curls up and you see here, and then say the 30-minute pulls back and then curls back up, you can always take that play again, right? Especially if there's no divergence. That's the key thing. If there's no divergence, then that's more what you want to pay attention to. But if you see divergence, it means watch out for downside, right? So I don't want to take an upside play when I'm seeing a potential downside reversal. But yeah, if you're mainly looking for plays that'll play out over the next couple of days, you look for a 30-minute. You pay attention if those 30 minutes are rolling down for some triple divergence maybe, because 30 minutes do create triple divergences more often than a 2 hour. So that is something to be aware of with those shorter time frames. But for the most part, 30-minute divergences have been good to me, I would say. Nice looking rising wedge on the SPY, looking for one more tag of upper trend line before the breakdown. And I think something here will be the hourly or 2 hour charts. I really think we have the opportunity to head a little bit higher. If we wanted to maybe just take a random point and kind of connect these levels, we can see boom right there. Maybe we're able to pop up for a second. A lot of the time in wedges, Dave, by the way, towards tops or something like that, right? I haven't drawn out a wedge here, but I'm just going to take this trend and talk about it. A lot of time towards like tops in a wedge, you'll see we're not able to actually go fully up to that point anymore. We actually fall short of it, and then we cross down through the bottom of that wedge. That happens a lot of the time. So it's like we ran out of steam. We can't make it to that trend. You know what I mean? Yeah, so dollar is looking a little bearish for the 30-minute, but it's still showing strength, right? We're seeing it on the hourly, we're seeing it on the 30-minute, but are they curling down? No, they're not, right? This 30-minute has not curled down yet. So dollar's still rising, people buying puts. I think it's justified, but volatility is saying, hey, we're dropping down, which means the SPY's most likely bouncing, Dow's most likely bouncing. A lot of this stuff will probably start to head to the upside, which might mean bad things for UVXY, right? Maybe UVXY is able to confirm this 30-minute curl down. Still got to pay attention as this is pretty high up. You have a very flat divergence here, but very steep on the RSI. Still got to pay attention if that 30-minute can curl back up for volatility even. I would say volatility is more going to lean towards, yeah, still 30-minute can curl back up. That's something to pay attention to. But if an hourly starts to curl down, okay, it's curled down. If a 2 hour starts to curl down, then you can start to say, okay, this pullback might last, or this bounce in the market might last a little bit. Morning, Freddie. We're doing good. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so if you're going to do 10-minute, just so you're aware, NF, 10-minute and 15 minutes, all right? I don't do those very often, right? We're just seeing the signal. That's the signal we're paying attention to. We're seeing a lot of people go to the put side. That's why we're overall paying attention to it. It looks like an hourly move could head to the upside. But 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You see divergences all the time. They do not play out as well as 30 minutes, 2 hours, and 4 hour daily charts, right? So those charts are better, but if you're gonna do 15-minute, 10-minute divergence plays or something like that, one thing you can do is make sure it is at a weekly expected move, right? If it's early on in the week and I see a 15-minute divergence outside of a weekly expected move or outside of a daily expected move, then that gives me some more information to go off of. That tells me, hey, there is specifically, I know there is a higher probability to go up than down from here because we got to get back in that zone. That's something very cool you can do with that. The other thing is you have to be managing trades very closely if you're taking 10 and 15-minute plays. That's why we don't discuss them in the course. I do not encourage it. But for the most part, you just want to say 10 minutes and 15 minutes can see quadruple divergences before they actually show the actual reversal, right? So you got to be managing those trades a little tighter if you're going to do the shorter ones. But a lot of the time, something that I've done in the past is I did it with TLT once. I made $13,000 off of $3,000 or $4,000 play in 48 hours because I once was just like, hey, I'm not going to lie. My fun account was doing really, really freaking well. And so I went, let's have some fun with it. And I literally, like my fun account, if you don't know, I have an extra account. I put $1,000 in it and I just kind of like take plays that I think would be interesting just to get that gambling itch out of me. So I did that and I took like a 2-day option for TLT. TLT the next day, I think it was the next day or 2 days later, made the move, right? It made the divergence move on like a 30-minute chart that had a 2-hour divergence behind it at the same time. We saw an explosive move, and I think it was worth somewhere between $13,000 to $17,000. I think I sold it at 13K. So it's like you can do that sped up stuff, but notice that's very risky, right? That's why I was using my fun account with that. I'm not using my real portfolio money, like my real option strategy money. I'm not doing that, but I did it once and it worked out. I just took that money out of that account and put it in my other one. So it's like it is doable, but a lot of the times trading is more about just managing your risk, right? Making sure the play you're taking is playing out, managing the trade, making sure that what you're seeing is actually performing. And that's kind of the big deal there, right? You want to have that extra time so that if it didn't go well, right? If that trade didn't go well for me, that money I made in my fun account is just gone, right? Because I took a 2-day option. So what I want to do is give myself 2 weeks so that if that did go wrong, maybe I only lose 25%. Walking away with $3,000 out of 4,000 is better than walking away with zero, right? Yeah, we look at Bitcoin pretty often, actually. We pretty much check that almost every day. Hourly, little divergence down here for a double bottom. So I think you have a chance for a 2 hour to curl up soon. It's just very negative. So a reaction to this zone, probably to something like 63K looks likely, and then we'll see if that's able to turn back down. But at the top, very, very simple at the top, right? Rejection divergence, you had 4 hour divergence at the top too. It pretty much said, hey, go short around 65K. That's what Bitcoin said in the signals. And it proved itself. So what is this? I believe. All right, AMC flat, or AMC up 0.45, GME flat right now. We do see Apple trying to do that basing out, right? Checking on that 15 minute, seeing that thing reject back up. See if you can get back above 225.84. That'd be a good sign. Then you just want to see as an hourly able to turn up. That's all we got to see. That's all we got to see some positivity. Dow as well. We just got to see if that thing can curl up on an hourly. The SPY trying to curl up on that 15 minutes. So we're still watching this signal, and I think over the next, I guess I would say 2 bars, which means over the next hour or so, so this bar and the next one, we most likely know if this is going to reject and head down. Something we can watch, since it is a 15-minute signal, is a 5-minute chart, right? If that rolls down, that's not a good thing. Notice that the last time we actually did see a solid bounce, we had to have some kind of even 5-minute divergence within that 15. So you do have the possibility to still go do something like this. So you can pay attention to a 5 at that point. It's kind of a tight signal, so we're looking at the shorter time frames. And Bitcoin means bad things for Mara, right? AMD downside would more likely just be paying attention to the weekly expected move, right? That's all. That's the main thing I would be watching. But as of right now, you're seeing a massive move up for AMD, right? We're seeing a solid move up with the rejection divergence. You can see that down here, a little bit lower actually, so not the best divergence in the world, but we did have the point on the RSI with this downfall here that gives you that divergence point. So an hourly turning up here is what I want to look for. See that? That looks very good. So it looks like the hourly can turn up here. You're already seeing that swing trade signal for the hourly, and it looks like 169.58 might be the next test. Maybe we go a little bit above that. Maybe we go towards, 172. I think 172 to 174 looks like the good zone there. But in this move, right, watch out for divergences, right? We got to watch out for divergences. This 2 hour can go pop up for a couple of days. We can see, whoa, massive move, and then, oop, turns right back down. So that's something I'll be paying attention to over the next couple of days. 3 days left in this week. Let's see if we can touch a weekly expected move, huh? IWM. Not curling up on the hourly yet. SPY not curling up on the hourly yet. Just waiting. Looking at this 15-minute signal, being patient. Are the Qs confirming it? Qs are confirming this, by the way. So the Qs are confirming it right away, which kind of gives you a hint. Now the probabilities are starting to add up more and more towards positivity. You see AMD popping off. We see things like NVIDIA seeing some positivity, really showing that signal. So you have some signals that have confirmed here for a lot of important things. AMD, NVIDIA, Qs, IWM, right? The Dow hasn't necessarily confirmed it, but if that can cross back up, that would be a good sign. Apple really basing out with the signal, that's a good sign. Able to get above 225.90 for now. We'll see if that can continue. Amazon able to hold up. If that can curl up, that can continue. We have divergence down here. It's all good stuff. So for the time being, it looks like bullishness is the move. We just need the SPY to really confirm that as well. I think that would help us a little bit. And it looks like if you were paying attention to UVXY, it looks like we're just about to confirm this. So let's see if that 15-minute can rotate down. I think that'll help us out as well. Hourly can start to turn down in its overall pullback for a couple of days. That would be interesting. And then remember, this could all just be a pullback today, or a bounce in the market today, a bounce in the market tomorrow, and then we get unemployment data, right? We get revision from the previous unemployment rate, and we get the new unemployment rate, plus we'll get non-farm payrolls and the revision there as well. Remember, that all the data has come in like directly on par with consensus, which is always fishy to me because that does not happen very often. So I'm a little worried about some revisions. That's all I'll say about that. Man, this 15-minute and the hourly might confirm at the same time. That would be crazy cool. AMD downside coming? No, this is saying the total opposite of that. All of this is saying the total opposite of that. This is saying you have potential to maybe test this level right here. Right, this is an area where you have to break through. So I get why you're paying attention to downside. This is the first area, so good. That is great. But if you're able to see that strong move and it takes you up to here, you kind of do something like this real quick, then you can end up going higher. Maybe we do a cup, maybe we get a handle, right? And then we end up going higher, maybe towards like a 172. NVIDIA turned green on the 30-minute. No reversal signal for the 30-minute, so that doesn't really convince me to do something. The 15-minute, I would say, convinced me to more do something when that confirmed here. Here. This bar actually right here at 117 was, hey, I can take a chance with it, see if that rolls back down. But as you are just barely above that, you can see if that hourly is able to curl up, that would be the next time to be like, okay, right? We're gonna head higher. Where are we gonna head to? Well, if we're able to get through here, then we get to here. If we're able to get through here, then you might see us go up towards the 125. And then you got to see at that point, are 2 hours curling up? Because 2 hours still relatively positive. So if the 2 hours is able to see that strength and that really goes like this, that's what it's gonna take. You're gonna have to get to these levels to really cross that. So if that's gonna happen, you might see a false breakout. Watch out if that divergence confirms, right? Breaks out, everyone gets euphoric, and then you just see that curl down. People think it's a retest, but you see big divergences across this. And we'll pay attention to, does the SPY have that divergence at the same time? Does VIX show the opposite of that divergence? You know what I mean? For NVIDIA, there's nothing on the 30-minute. There's no reversal on the 30. This is just saying a bounce. If you consider a bounce a reversal, I'm talking about the reversal in trend, right? So in order to reverse the trend, what do you have to do here? It's going to take a lot of work. You don't have basing out signals. So that's why I'm talking about swing trades on bigger time frames, because you don't necessarily have bigger signals. You can V-shape, but that's why we're talking about swing trades, because there's no hint here. It's because you're negative, you don't have divergence, right? Now, if you go look even smaller, you're going to have that divergence. That is a reversal signal. Okay, so that can help me make a decision. That tells me, okay, take a chance. If that curls down on the 15-minute, manage the trade. But the hourly here, if that turns up, then that's just more confirmation that this can head higher, and I can just treat it like an hourly swing trade. So you're seeing it correctly, and this is probably a good time, right? This is good timing. And then you just want to pay attention and see, is that 15-minute rolling back down, right? Is this 5-minute going to roll down and roll back up? Maybe we wait for that. But if that never rolls back up, or never rolls back down, then that's just going to confirm the upside. So yeah, this is a reversal signal on the 15, not the 30. $225 is the level I think you got to hold for sure. You can consolidate in this area. You can pull back and touch this zone for a moment. But the main thing is, if this 15-minute curls back down, if we see too much selling and then that leads to this crossing, then you might have to go create a double bottom down there, or that could just be ugly, right? And the dollar is still running. Yeah, it's still going, still going, still going. You are correct. But remember, there can be a difference between the dollar and the market for quite some time, and the market maker might be in charge of the tomfoolery, right? Because the puts, everyone has puts, so if this selling behind the curtain actually hits, you know, a lot of retail might make money, and I don't think they like that to happen, especially right now with what's going on in the world, with what's going on with, I would say, even AMC and GME. People are getting, apparently some people have gotten margin called. Some short sellers have gotten margin called for GME and AMC. Not big amounts. Check on gold. Yeah, let's go check on gold. And we're seeing gold want to turn down, right? We're seeing that 30-minute turn down, which is a sign, as we saw negativity in the market. What happened to gold? Positivity. So if we're keeping that correlation and gold is going to head down, then it would make sense for stocks to head up from this area, right? Gold, I really would like it to hold up at these areas, but if that's just now crossing, that can really pull back, maybe fill a gap, and then we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll circle it for you. It's very, very simple, all right? What is the reversal signal here? The reversal signal is all of this together, right? It's the whole picture, right? This pointing up, this over here pointing a little bit up, and then I would say the other signal is this actually went green. That is when it is confirmed. This bar, I'll zoom in right here. This bar right here, if you look at the dotted line as we go down, it's green down here, it's green right here. That's the reversal signal completing. Yeah, very, very simple there. Keep it very simple. And then what I would also say is, if I wanted to see if this has more strength behind it, then maybe I want a bigger time frame to confirm. So that would mean if the 15-minute does not rotate down and the hourly is able to curl up, meaning that 15-minute can go a little higher and this hourly turns up, I can treat this like an hourly swing trade. Gold, please check gold in the future. Okay, in the future, no. So for this, it's going to be the 2 hour able to curl down. Actually, trying to curl back up there for the future is very interesting, because that could be cup and handle type thing. You were able to get back above this area. Actually, you broke back below it. That's not the best sign, but 2 hour rotates down, then maybe you're cutting out this low and making a new one. Yeah, you're kind of getting this funky moment where it's like, oh, it confirms up, it goes down, it confirms up, and then it confirms something down. So let's look at a 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hour not pretty at the moment. Daily showing not really reversal signals. I think a pullback to the 20 would even be nice, though. Just that would cross over the daily. So weirdly enough, gold can see a daily pullback, I guess, too. AMD now up 2%. Dow now up 17. See if that hourly can cross. Hasn't crossed yet. SPY has that hourly cross. Hasn't crossed yet. Qs has that hourly cross. Hasn't crossed yet. But all the reverse signals are here. You're noticing right before we cross, we're testing an area. The SPY for the top side for today for the 68% zone is going to be 573.92. Yeah, 92. As far as the 3-day, nope. As far as the daily scale goes, yeah, it's close. But a lot of the time people front run when they first see that. We see a reaction up and then it confirms a couple days later. But we just want to be on the right side of the thing here. So we're just looking for hourlies to turn up and we can feel good. This makes you feel all right, right? That's actually confirming now. We're actually starting to confirm. But you got 8 minutes left in the bar. You're seeing some wicks come in. Of course, Afoma. No, you ask great questions. They're good questions. They're good questions. And it is some stuff that I've been doing for a long time. So part of me is just like trying to be like, I have to always understand that people aren't where I'm at with the thinking because I've done it for so long. So I have to really try to explain it in a better way a lot of the time. Check if you have extended trading hours on. And one thing people miss is I do the close of the bar, right? But that's all I can really think of. HD. Let's go look at it. Home Depot. Oof, not liking that because that's going to be a 2 hour. So not really looking at the 30-minute here. Obviously, if the 30-minute pulls back, very positive, so it can continue the trend with just a simple curl up, even if we pull back here. The signal to watch for is the 2 hour. This 2 hour rotates back down. That's not a good sign because you're probably going to go through a big daily pullback. So that's telling me that you have risk of, over the next couple of trading sessions, of confirming that 2 hour divergence, and that can lead to the daily having to pull back. So the daily pulling back might look at, you know, the gap towards 391. If we're going to see a bigger overall pullback, then I'd say the breakout area towards 377. Those are two levels that I think I would watch here. You're seeing the 2 hour signal. That still has to confirm, but if that confirms down, that's not the best sign for Home Depot. Another port strike trade? Oh, gotcha. Which tells you something. If the market's really worried about the port strike in some way, then you would say those port strike companies might give you a little hint of what's to come. So maybe all of this doesn't even play out. It is, Robert, isn't it? Everything's like 2% away from being like, all right, now we're pulling back by 7%. You know what I mean? It's close, but it's not fully there. Let me spread this out so we can see it. Notice that that's not confirming up anymore. That's why we wait, especially on the shorter time frames, waiting for the completion of the bar, like 15. If, you know, someone mentioned a 10, a 5. Those little time frames really want to wait for confirmation. I even do that for the most part on pretty much every single trade. I'm doing that. I'm mainly looking for shorter time frames to give me a hint, like a 30-minute divergence behind a 2 hour. Yeah, and it might mean slow it down, right? Maybe for the next one, slow it down. Look for just a blatant 2 hour divergence. Look for just a blatant daily divergence. Try to do that doing a month out option or something. You know, try to really make it easy for yourself. Right now, we're seeing the 15-minute reject. So something I can do, since I'm not seeing that confirm, is look at a 15-minute, right? Or look at a 5-minute now. See if that confirms down. Because where is it? It's still close to that center line. And maybe we need a reversal signal down here before we actually head up. But if that never crosses, then I'm going to see if that 15-minute can cross up. Or they're going to fake us out and run it. They might. There's a lot of puts coming in. You see, we've been at the put side all day. That's choppy. Oh, I'm on a 5-minute. That's why it's choppy. SPY on a 5-minute. We can watch that for a little bit. Got to get above that high. That would cross up the hourly scale. Let me see here. All right, guys. What should I eat today? Pho? Should I take a buddy out to lunch for pho? We got to talk a little business. Yeah, waiting for an entry, and I think that's perfectly fine, right? You're still waiting to see if this even confirms, right? Just chilling. I'm not either, right? I'm not fully sure either. I think a lot of things are making me think we're going to bounce harder from here. I think we get an hourly turn up, but I got to see that proven. Just because I think something doesn't mean I take a trade, right? I have to think of how that would play out, and how that would play out is the 15-minute divergence here would confirm, and then an hourly chart would turn up. If I have those two parameters there, I can sit. I can have that rule for myself. If I do not see this 15-minute divergence play out, then I'm not going to take a trade. Even if it does play out and I see it start to reject and curl down, then I'm going to get out of the trade. Now I have those specific parameters for myself, and I can go, okay, 15-minute curls up, I make a decision, I manage the trade. Hourly curls up with it, I feel good about it. I take the play, I'm chilling. I just have to manage the trade. That's it. Do you do all your trading in the first 2 hours every day? No, a lot of the time, I'm either taking a play. Most of the time, I'm actually taking a play, I would say, in the first 2 hours or the last hour of the day. First 2 hours or the last hour of the day. Yeah, you just want to make sure your thinking's right. And I think it's fine to have that, certain times where something happens quickly, you're like, I need to react. But as long as you slow it down for even like a minute and you just breathe and go, okay, what are my parameters for this? What am I really looking for? What am I really trying to do here? Oh, I'm trying to see an upside move. So if I'm seeing an upside signal, that can be the confirmation. Okay, so that signal's on the 15. If the hourly turns up, that's good. Do I want to wait for the hourly to turn up before taking the play, or should I try it on the 15-minute? And maybe I'll try it on the 15-minute. And maybe I'll wait for the hourly, right? There's multiple ways to do it. But for the most part, just slowing it down for a second can really help. Check Humana. Is that? Oh, yeah, HUM. Oh, that's not fun, is it? That is not fun. And you had the daily curl up too. Boom, right there on a red bar. Not the best thing, but daily curled down, there should be no reason for upside there in that moment. 2 hour curled down right here. So pretty much from 301.05, you have no reason for upside. Let's look in the tightest time frame just in case. And this actually said from right here. So if you're following a 30-minute, 319, 320, 320 said no reason for upside. It didn't necessarily give you a trade setup, by the way. Like, I don't think this was necessarily the best trade setup. I think that the 2 hour was maybe a swing trade to the downside setup, right? We could see that. This broke right here and said, hey, downside is there, but you might have said, oversold is limited, so the downside limited, but then something crazy happened. So the signals told you everything. Again, it told you do not take an upside play here. Is there anything really going on to trade with this one? Not necessarily until you see some kind of 30-minute bounce. You need some more price action now. Things are starting to roll a little bit, all right? So this is where we were patient. We waited for the 15-minute signal. It did not happen yet, right? This could all be cup and handle, right? Hasn't confirmed. Which means maybe I need to look at volatility. Is that curling back up on a 15-minute, right? Yeah, the hourly's curled down. The most likely thing is still hourly pullback. But if that 15-minute turns around and that hourly turns around, that's going to be a big deal. What's something fun we could do? I want to make you guys say something in the chat, but... All right. Your portfolio doubles today. Just a random question. Let's have some fun. Your whole portfolio doubles today. What's the first thing you go do at market close? Like, what's the first thing you do after the market's closed? I just want to see some fun answers, right? I just want to see. What would you do? And we'll look at NEM while you guys figure out what you would do if your whole portfolio doubled today. I don't like this 15-minute signal from NEM. Hourly, if that curls down, not a good sign. Let's look 30-minute. Looks like if that curls down, not a good sign, right? You've really cupped, right? You've gotten to the good level to pretty much complete the cup. Now this could be a massive handle. So that tells me there's no reversal signals down in here, right? You might have had it on the shorter time frame. That led to a bounce. Awesome, but the 30-minute signal is more important. So you can do something like this, and maybe if that pops up, good things. Buy yen calls, leave it alone, transfer some money back to my bank. Look for the next best trade. I love that answer. That is fun. That is great. Get a good meal, reinvest it tomorrow. I like it, Kalani. I like that a lot. Buy, of course, fishing. All right, buy a saltwater fishing setup and have it sent to my family's home in Florida before I get there. That's sick. Buy gold, Cassie. I think that that's a reasonable thing too. Start calculating how many SQQQ leaps I can buy. Take profit on 1.4 of my assets and travel to Australia. That sounds like a lot of fun, William. I'll go with you. And I have friends there. I have friends in Melbourne. You want to go hang out with some tennis players? I'd pull my money out and buy a house without having a mortgage. Now think about that, Chad. What if you just sat on that money though until the housing market collapsed and you could buy 3 houses? Have fun for the rest of the month. Yeah, put $1,000 into your fun account and just go nuts. Just take super risky plays, like 30-minute divergence with 2 days to expiration every time. Like if you're comfortable and you can make it through and your portfolio doubles and now you have a ton of cash, it's like now all you have is time's kind of on your side, right? You have the cash. What would I do? I would sit comfortably. That's what I would do. I would sit comfortably. The moment 3 o'clock hits, I would probably say, let's go out to eat. And I would take my girls out for a nice meal. And then I'd probably go visit Abuela, at her job. Maybe go buy something from her for my wife. And then I'd go home and just chill and do my regular thing and not try to treat it like. Because the thing is, like, if you read into psychology a lot of the time, the reason a lot of people can't sustain success is because the dopamine hit after you do something good is really high, and then you go to work the next day and you're coming down from that dopamine hit. So something you can really do is celebrate it quickly and then immediately try to go almost back into the mindset like you lost. Like really come down on your dopamine. Really tell yourself, that's just a regular thing. I have to keep going. I have more to do. I have bigger goals than this, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's one of the things. It's pretty cool. But yeah, if you can really train yourself, like you have a good trade, celebrate it for a second, and then be like, okay, but I'm not done. That's a very good thing to learn how to do mentally, and it will help the chemicals in your brain so that you don't make bad decisions. What's the T today? The T today is volatility showed a little reversal signal here. We're seeing if that'll play out. The volatility has turned down on the hourly, meaning it might pull back, and it's pulling back pretty significantly at the same time that the SPY is starting to confirm this divergence. So we do have a 15-minute divergence here in our buy zone. Notice that we touched our little buy zone. So you guys were asking about these gray gray rectangles. These across your screen, these little gray zones, are where I believe support is, meaning where buyers might be if you're above it, where sellers might be if you're below it. Right now we're above it, so I think there's buyers in this area, and we touch that area, we create the divergence, we cross up. That's fantastic. Now, if that posts in about 9 minutes, which I'll stay live for the next 9 minutes, I'll stay a little extra just to watch it. But for the most part, we want to see an hourly confirming up from that. So if during this, that 15-minute confirms, it means I can take the play, and then I want to just be a little more confident by seeing that hourly turns up. And if that hourly turns up, I think you got a good shot to head up and touch the high between these points, or touch the trend between these highs. And you'd be pretty much dead set on, hey, maybe we're able to actually go to 582, which means for my 30-minute, maybe even by Friday, if this all would confirm, maybe this 30 minutes sees the big move, comes down, and then sees another move up next week towards a weekly expected move, and then we see divergence, right? This could leak into next week. I'm kind of leaning towards a trap on Friday, though, because of how the dollar is behaving. Dollar is just rapidly going up, so we really need this to start coming down in order to see positivity. You're seeing that on SPY. You're seeing that on the Qs. 15 divergence on the 15-minute divergence. Very, very good double bottom there for the Qs. If you can break through this level, curl up on an hourly. We're seeing it as well on Apple. Rejection divergence for Apple. You're seeing it for Amazon trying to make the higher low. You're seeing it for NVIDIA on the 15-minute with the actual divergence there. Very, very good. You're seeing it on AMD with the rejection divergence, right? That divergence point does add up on this side on the RSI, so you do have it, and this is something big. So with AMD, since this thing really led the charge, maybe this is going to cross up on an hourly first. So if AMD crosses on an hourly, I would think that the rest of the market will follow, because AMD is the one that's really moving up the quickest, or up the best, in my opinion. I think AMD looks like a decent one. I've already decided which stock I'm going to most likely trade, so. If you want to know, that's volatility. I'm going to short volatility if the SPY can confirm the 15-minute divergence, which we're turning down again, right? So I can't do that yet. I need to see the signal confirm. I need to see it really confirm in about 7 minutes, and then I can take a play, maybe look at this on a 5-minute and say if that curls down, I get out for a moment. If that curls back up with a divergence, I get right back in. Right? That's what I'm going to do here. Because I want to mitigate risk. If I'm going to see bad things, right? Someone pointed out a company that we just looked at that is going to maybe suffer because of the strike. So if that strike's going to leak into the entire market, if this little 5-minute curls down, that means my 15-minute can rotate right back down. It's very quick on the shorter time frames. So then I'll be like, this is really bad. But if it does this, I'm like, hey, thank you. I'm going to take that play and then see if that one plays out. Or maybe wait till the 15-minute confirms back up. That's probably the smartest thing. No, I sold out of my UVXY play. I'm out of my volatility. Now I'm thinking about shorting it, right? I see the opposite signal. I'm like, all right, now I can just short this thing. And volatility, weirdly enough, I scaled into that. So I have one position looking for the second one. Apple downside, we don't have a daily expected move. It can head lower than this, I believe. Let me see. What is that? 223. Let's go check out my other charts here for Apple. Apple could head as low as something like 220, 222, 220, somewhere in that zone. Yeah, so I'm just chilling, waiting for the play. I like these signals, but I've already decided I like my volatility plays in this. And I think volatility could subside here pretty well. So I'm waiting to see if this will confirm, and then I can make my decision to fully get into the position. I always like to take a small one towards levels where I think it could get risky, right? When I'm seeing those things form. And then I can just manage that position a little bit. But for the most part, I just want to see, is the SPY confirming this? Okay, if it does, I know that UVXY can start to drop. Harder than it's dropped right now, especially if that hourly curls up. I watch SPY, and I play UVXY, by the way. So if I'm taking anything with volatility, I'm always looking at what the SPY does, because the VIX reacts to what the SPY does. The VIX is calculating the puts and calls in the SPY. Or maybe it's the SPX. Either way, they're correlated. Yeah, GME has been seeing some interesting stuff. The key thing here is it's holding those divergences too on the 15-minute, just suffering a little bit. The main thing still, the daily is curled up, is trying to go positive, but we do have 2-hour signals here saying GameStop can actually flush here. Okay, I just want you to be aware, you do have this 2-hour signal that confirmed yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. And this here is a reversal signal. So if this can go lower, then that's not going to be a good thing, right? But if the 30-minute can pop up here, then maybe that daily doesn't cross down. The daily is very close to crossing down, maybe making a triple divergence. Volatober begins, yeah. And it's all right. I think I knew what you were talking about, Ifoma. It's not necessarily that. Most of the time you're going to see good prices, Ifoma, with these type of strategies, because these are almost like trap strategies, right? We make the next move higher, everyone thinks that this thing is going to explode, and then you see the divergence, and then all the puts are cheap because everyone thinks it's going to explode, right? So it's like puts were probably cheap here for GameStop, and then it curls down and they start to get a little less cheap, right? So you want to be reacting when you see the signal. That's why it was good, your question about when's the exact time for the confirmation for when that is an actual reversal signal. That's a good question, right? We talk about that in the course, but it's good to reiterate. So 15-minute for the SPY is what we're watching here. That posts in about 2 minutes. So I got to watch this thing. If this confirms, then I know that volatility can subside. I know I still have to manage the trade. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean this is 100%. So I have to manage the trade. But from this point right here, I feel pretty confident, especially if that hourly can turn back up. And I'm not saying this is going to be some kind of massive bull run like those crazy people on Twitter or something like that. I'm just saying this is a reversal signal on a short time frame, right? So we can head higher. If the hourly turns up, we can head higher. Okay, awesome. Does that mean we're out of the woods? No, I think Friday we could see, actually, I think Friday you could see major highs and then just everything's ripped away over the weekend. Maybe once Israel retaliates, maybe it's as the strike actually starts to affect stores. Right now, for the formula that we used for my daughter, every single place that carries it is out. The shelves are empty for that stuff. So it's already beginning. We'll see if it continues. Something I thought would be interesting is if, because I think unions are more Democrat leaning, since we're, we don't talk about politics often, but I'm wondering if, I think the smart thing for Kamala would be to try to form a deal in some way, try to be actively a part of that in some way, because this can really disrupt the economy, that she could possibly do something like that, and that would be good for her campaign. Because, I don't want that to happen, because if these supply chain issues happen because of these people going on strike, I don't know if they actually, I think they realize it directly that a lot of people around the country could get fired who have nothing to do with ports, right? Just a Target employee could get fired, right? A Walmart employee could get fired. Those type of things will happen if this strike goes on too long. So I think it would be smart for her to try to make a deal. I think that would be good for her campaign too. Dude, gold's down 20? Oh, on futures? Oh, not good for gold. Remember, gold reacted up with the downturn of stocks, rejecting on the 2-hour. Not a good sign for gold, actually. Now I want to see, is the daily able to confirm down over the next couple of days? I still think a reaction to the 20 would be great here for gold. Costco is a madhouse. Yeah, people are showing already that they're already running into problems because people are overdoing it right now. People are trying to make sure they have the products that they need. We got a ton of canned food before everyone, right? That's why we told you guys on Saturday about the info, because we wanted you guys to react before everyone, so you're not going to the store when it's chaotic and crowded. TP. Weirdly enough, these supply chain issues, when you have something like this happen where 35% of your imports could just stop, the main thing that's going to be the important thing is actual necessities. No offense to anyone's butt out there, but wiping your butt is not a necessity. It is necessary in some way, yes. But if you don't have food, you're probably not going to use the toilet. So you might want food. Because that's what's really going to get expensive. All right, let's go look at the SPY, since that's probably confirming at this point. All right, SPY confirmed. Let's do it. Fully scale in. All right, good to go. With that, we are going to see if this plays out. Gonna have to manage the trade, but I'm gonna go get me some pho. So I will be back later today for a YouTube video. I know we haven't been doing a lot of closing streams, just pretty much I think that stuff burns me out. It's a lot of interaction. It's a lot of clicking around on stocks, and then I get really tired for the YouTube video. So I do have a lot on my plate around here, but I will be back on YouTube later today. Really appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, doing all the good stuff. Thank you so much for the donations out there. Really do appreciate it. I hope in some way you learned something today. I really do. As always, though, I just hope that you had some fun today. I really hope that you were able to learn, but also have fun while we do it. And I appreciate you guys being here. All right. Have a great day. Good luck with your trades. Make sure to trade like water out there, and you'll be just fine. Peace out.